Good morning. When I get a minute of free time, I'll get you up to speed on what's going on this morning. Our neighbors, the Currys, moved across the road from us last night. Wonder what kind of crop damage they had from that car that drove through there a couple days back. What are you barking at? Combines left because we have a farm about halfway in between the farm we're about to move to. That's corn. We're going to cut soybeans, and we don't have to come all the way back to get the corn in. It's about a 2-hour drive in the combine to the field we're headed at, our last big field of beans, so I'm going to send the head carts in 30 minutes. So I set a little timer here. Okay, both head carts are hooked on. This one's Dad's. We broke the strap off the other day going through the field with it unstrapped. It just drug on the ground and broke. And somehow, some way, my dad thinks this right here is going to do something. It may keep the head from jumping off, but wouldn't exactly call that secure. That's a little bit better. There goes head cart number 2. I'll be behind them shortly with the grain cart. I'll give you all my fairly quick update before I hit the road after cleaning these windshields and letting them get a little bit of a head start. Yesterday, we finished cutting around home here, a lot of piddly fields, a lot of fields surrounded by trees, lower productivity stuff, mostly ranging in the 60 bushel dry average. This last field we're going to is about a county to the west, 35 or 40 miles, which is quite a long drive in a tractor, but it's a good chunk of ground, 200 acres, so it's worth the trip for us. Depending on whether or not everything goes correctly, we could actually get it finished today. Probably unlikely with the way we operate. Our success or efficiency rating probably not as good as others considering how much equipment we run, but it'll be close to done by the time this day's over, unless we get hit by an asteroid or something. Some people charge you hundreds of dollars to do that bad of a job cleaning the windows on the tractors. Not me, I do it for free. Okay, we are over here at home. Combines are almost halfway to the field over by Tower Hill here. So we got a little bit of catching up to do, although we don't need to get there at the same time they do. We're like a secondary consideration here in the grain cart. Head west, young man, haven't you been told? California's full of women, whiskey and gold. You know the ag economy is starting to shift a little bit when there's unsold X9 sitting on dealership lots. You couldn't even buy one of those if you had the money last year. Now they don't even sell them all. Just about to roll through Shelbyville, which puts us a little over halfway there. It's been a fairly pleasant drive so far, not a lot of traffic. Surprising, but I'll take it. Just pulling up to the field after being on the road for 90 minutes or so. Heads are on both combines, however they're not cutting, so the beans may be a little tough yet. We kind of took a leap of faith driving over here because we didn't even check and see if the beans were even ready, because that would involve a 45-minute drive down the road. We just kind of assumed they'd be ready. Never mind, I was completely wrong. The combines were not stopped because these beans are tough. They were stopped because my dad and Katie went to the local Casey's to use the bathroom and grab a snack. So disregard that. These beans are plenty dry. There's already a ton of dust rolling at 10:30 in the morning. These are our final field of beans. They are a Beck's 3997 Extend-Flex beans. For whatever it's worth, they look absolutely incredible. Let's just hope the yield is there to match the appearance. everything goes right on these big fields, we actually could get them done tonight. We've been harvesting for over an hour now. This is the third truck I've loaded. It looks like we started a tad bit late because our first load tested at the elevator 12.9%. Typically we like to start at 14. However, moving 2 hours makes it hard to start on time, especially when it's this dry. When we showed up, the neighbors over here were already cutting, so we're late to the party. It's always really interesting getting this far away from home because I've got no idea who any of these farmers are. Most of our neighbors around the Mattoon area I know. Here though, I've got no clue. Every time we come over here past Tower Hill, almost to Pana, for lunch, we go back to Shelbyville and get Monocle's Pizza. Great pizza. It's hard to beat it. However, it's definitely a heavy lunch and puts you a little bit on the sleepy side, which is not the greatest when you're operating heavy equipment that costs this much. We're getting close to done with this north field. We've got about 25 acres left maybe. Might as well get your money out of those grain tank extensions, right? If you guys want to hear about impeccable timing, which we usually do not have, the neighbors back home told us that the Secretary of State, the Department of Transportation, or the state police have the portable scales out at Neoga, which is where we were hauling to yesterday. Not that we would ever overload a truck by any means. We would never knowingly do that. Just ironic that we're not there today and they're weighing people. I think these trailers are 34 foot. I'm not sure you can even legally overload them with soybeans. Corn, definitely. You could get 1,000 bushel of dried corn on here if it's heavy, and that would 100% be over the legal maximum. Again, that's something we would never do. You get the theme? We actually made pretty good work of this north 120. We've got a short 80 on the south side of the road here. Combines are just going to hop over when traffic allows, and we're going to see if we can get this finished tonight. Combine drivers could have at least had the decency to fold their ladder in before going down Highway 16 here. Before anyone gets their panties in a bunch, they went 100 foot down the road. There was no traffic coming. I'm sure they wouldn't have gone if there was. No harm, no foul. These aren't all gonna fit. However, I can get an estimation on final yield on the north field off the Libra cart once I'm done. I manually put in the last 230 bushels over the 118 acres here. Average 77 bushels an acre dry with the Bex 3997 Extend Flex. This farm did catch more late rains. However, it was drier more in June than our farms back home. So I think vegetative growth was probably limited here early on. The few times I came over to check on this and spray it, I was not really that impressed with how quickly the rows were closing, probably because this light western Shelby County dirt was out of moisture. The fact that these 3 9-Bex beans made 77, I mean, probably a testament to how good late August rains are. But again, like many of our fields, a lot left on the table because we didn't get the timely rains. This north field, typically in the few years where we farmed it, has shown to be better than the south 80-acre field, just because this one has better drainage, there's not as many obstructions, it's just easier to farm, longer rows. Typically that does help yields a little bit. However, overall it's just a better field. I don't understand what the deal is with all of the green leaves on these beans. They're testing dry, there's no butter beans, just a lot of greenness left in here. Could be a variety thing with these Bex 39, 97 Extend Flexes. Not really too familiar with them, so I don't know if that's something they do. Could be a fungicide thing, however, we spray fungicide on everything, and I have not seen this much green anywhere else. Or it could be, like I said, because they caught some good August rains, and these plants didn't quite die like our soybeans did it. They finished their life correctly, they just didn't have the seed count to have a tremendous yield on. Okay, look at the size of some of these pods. They are planted about 20,000 plants per acre thinner than what we plant our stuff at home at. This landowner likes that. Oh my goodness, look at those things. That's the biggest beans I've ever seen. I almost want to go put those in a trophy case or something. That is ridiculous. Just imagine what kind of beans we'd have out here if we could replay this year and add 2 inches or 3 inches of rain in June. This farm probably did not get any considerable rainfall from mid-May until the 2nd or 3rd week of July, which gives you 8 weeks of no rain over here. And the beans, they look great seed size wise, just wish we had more bean count out here. I'll be pretty proud of us if we cut 200 acres in one day with 2 hours of road travel in the mix. You know, on second thought, now's a good time just to prepare for something to break. Because anytime it looks like we're going to finish earlier than expected, something goes terribly wrong for us. I don't know if that's because we're jinxing ourselves or that's just the nature of farming. We're working on things in general. What in the world did Dad just find out here in this field? Is that like a wrestling mat or a tumbling mat or something? You literally never know what you're going to find out in the field. We're knocking on 5 o'clock, about halfway done with this South 80. Combines are chewing through the slowest part of the field right now where all those power lines crisscross around. Doesn't slow them down that much in soybeans because you can cut any direction you want. So all you gotta do is go around them and clean up what you leave behind, and then you're on to the next one. Technically, these two machines are averaging a straight line productivity of probably 30 plus acres an hour combined. More realistically, 32 or 33, depending on how dry the soybeans are and how easy they're cutting. The issue we're running into though is that the elevator, which is the Assumption Grain Cooperative located in Payne, that's about a 3-mile drive, easy to get there, is just getting absolutely overloaded with soybeans today. Jeff said the line is out to the road right now to even get on the scales. They're supposedly running both pits on soybeans. However, there's just so many farmers in the area cutting beans, presumably because they're all dry and mature and ready to go, that the elevator cannot keep up. The elevator is probably going to be the determining factor on whether or not we get everything harvested tonight. These beans are dry enough that we can leave them on the trucks in the cart, and we definitely, if we can, would finish cutting tonight and just leave everything loaded for the morning. And if we do really good, we may even be able to take the combines home tonight, or at least to the cornfield that we're thinking about picking on the way home. There's really a lot that can go wrong with 40 acres remaining, especially because where the power poles are located through the middle of this field is an old railroad right-of-way. The railroad's long gone. You can definitely tell in the soybeans where they were because that ground's compacted and gravelly and just doesn't raise a good crop. And there's a lot of junk in there. And junk does not mix well with the separating elements on a combine, so hopefully nothing gets jammed in the wrong place. Jeff, who I just loaded, radioed that over there is actually smoke because someone caught a cornfield on fire, and with the little breeze we have and dryness, He said the field's really starting to take hold and catch flame. Maybe some of the volunteer firefighters are farmers and it'll open up the bean line a little bit. That's terrible.
Looks like they're calling in the recruits over there.
Oh man, they've called in backup. So far so good. The trucks are just barely keeping up. Every time we're 5 to 10 minutes away from the combines having to stop, another truck shows up for me to dump on. Roughly speaking, every semi that shows back up at the field is another 10 acres that we can get away and cut. With this only being an 80-acre field and we've already got half of it done, pretty much just counting down the passes until we're wrapped up here. This is almost a poetic ending to soybean harvest. Caught the trucks right as the combines are finishing up their last passes. I'm not even entirely sure what the move home plan is tonight. We haven't even really discussed that because we don't want to run the risk of jinxing ourselves. Guess we'll have to run to the north, grab the head carts, bring them back, unhook them, and then we'll figure out how we're getting home. Preferably not by foot because 35 miles is a long way, especially when you're slow like me. Combines got rolling a little bit after 10 a.m. It is 6-ish right now, so we got 200 acres done in 8 hours. It's pretty good average efficiency. You're never gonna actually get your top straight line stuff, but when it's all said and done, you can't really complain about that. Sometimes you get it in the first try, other times it takes you about 20. Okay, we made some plans and then we changed them. Obviously our first priority is to get all of the grain from this field to the elevator, which we should be able to accomplish tonight, assuming there's not some crazy long line beyond what there's already been. What we're going to do is Katie and Dad are going to take the head carts all the way home. Unless we help another farmer out back in our home area, there's really no reason for them to stay here. We're done with them. We're going to leave both combines here tonight. I'm going to dump off the semi-load I have on the cart onto the first truck that comes. They're going to go to the elevator, and then I'm going to dump both combines because I'm full and they've got some partial loads onto the grain cart, and I'm going to park the combines out in the field, lock them up, and whenever the second truck comes, I'm also going to dump onto that truck, empty out the cart, send that truck to the elevator, and then I'm going to head about halfway home to Windsor Middlesworth area where we're going to pick some corn tomorrow. I'll be staged there, ready to go. The two semis are going to park there tonight once they dump. And I guess Chris is just going to take his 10-wheeler home. We'll come get the combines first thing in the morning because we're picking corn away from home. Probably only run one machine, so Katie can use her extra manpower since she doesn't really do much when we're picking corn with one machine. Take her machine home. Dad can take his to the 12-row corn head, which we should have placed at the field on the head cart halfway between here and home. So if you're following geographically, just trust me, everything makes sense, or as much sense as we can make it make sense. And now we wait on trucks. Oh, I knew that was the rattle of one of our semis coming down the road. It's like we're about halfway done to headed home. park out there. They're locked up. Get them in the morning. Time to run the grain cart in halfway to home. The South 80 made 71 bushels an acre dry. We lose a little bit of yield there because I think they're coming in at 10 or 11% at the end. There's nothing we can do. You just got to harvest them. You can't just leave them until they pick up moisture. Usually takes a rain to make that happen. Oh well, all things considered, I said that a million times this soybean harvest. Got to be grateful that we're raising 70 bushel beans given how dry it was. The north field is objectively a better field, so you'd expect it to come in 6-7 bushel an acre better compared to the southern field. I don't know if it's drainage, soil type, fertility, something. It's just not as good. Okay, I'm firing up the hazards, hitting road gear. I didn't bring an extra camera battery and my camera's about to die. I'm a good driver, so I don't expect anything eventful to happen on the way home, but I'm going to say goodbye just in case I run out of juice here. As always, everyone, I greatly appreciate every single one of you continuing to tune in and support the channel. Your viewership means the world to me. Catch you all in the next episode. Until then, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Have a great day, everyone. Peace!